Hello and welcome to my channel. I am ZodiacBandit, and today we're going to talk about episodes 7 to 8 of Legend of Vox Machina, the animated series. And honestly, it's pretty sick. These episodes are friggin' some of the best. And the cast was saying that this was going to get better as it went on, and I didn't necessarily think that it would improve a whole bunch as time went on. I thought, they would have it pretty consistent throughout, but no, I think each episode has gotten better with integrating some of the 3D aspects to the 2D animation, and they've gotten really good at hiding a bunch of Easter eggs and storytelling beats. So as time's gone on, they're right, it's gotten better, which is incredible because the first 3 episodes were really good as well. So spoilers, obviously. I'm not gonna recap the story. I'm gonna talk about certain moments throughout these episodes that I really enjoyed, and yeah, because I've been a fan of Critical Role for a long time now, probably about 2 years, 2.5 years now. I've been watching all of it, and these 3 episodes hold some of my favorite moments from Campaign 1. First, I'm gonna start with the obvious Scanbo, or Scanlan Rambo, when he infiltrates the Goliath's mansion or manor and just solos a bunch of goons. And honestly, seeing this animated, this is exactly how I saw it. I don't know if it starts the same way where he kind of goes into the washroom and bam, he's there. But, I thought it was perfect. He goes in, uses the scroll, and turns into a Triceratops and messes shit up, and he drinks the fire breathing potion, and this is how I visualized it. It's amazing, it's perfect, and I can't describe how much I liked this moment in the game. So to see it animated is just another level, and I appreciate it so much because it's stuck quite to its guns. If I were to go back and listen to that segment, he got a 40-minute segment by himself to do all this, and it perfectly translated into this episode. Because for the most part, it's just Scanlan doing his thing for this episode, and this is episode 7, and it's so much fun watching him. And this in game, in the campaign, was the first time I realized how much a single player who is well equipped could mess a whole group of people up. And Scanlan proves it with this. And the animated series does a magnificent job. And they kind of hint at it oh, he's going to turn into a Triceratops because there's a Triceratops skull right there. And yeah, obviously Sam does amazing as Scanlan. And I forget his name in real life, but the Hound from Game of Thrones is the Goliath. So it's just really badass to see this. His voice is the perfect contrast to Scanlan's voice. It really stands out against his. Scanlan is, cocky and kind of higher pitched, and this guy is, his voice is violent and gruff and mean, and it's a perfect contrast when the two of them start clashing. That Scanlan would use his cockiness to kind of get away, and throughout this entire thing, throughout all of Legend of Vox Machina, I was waiting for Scanlan to use Lightning Bolt, because that is something he used in the second episode. He used it, shot it out of his dick in the second episode of the campaign, the whole thing. And he hasn't used it yet, which I thought he would have against Brimscythe, but he didn't. At least I don't remember him doing it. So then him using it here for the first time was great. And then him kind of letting the guy live, and then he floated away on Bigby's hand was perfect. It was perfect anime hero moment. I'm better than you, I get to leave. Bam, it's perfect. And then the next one where they go in episode 8, where they go to save Cassandra, and the dude's got the silver tongue. And I remember this very vividly as well in the campaign, where I'm pretty sure in the campaign Scanlan shows up to counterspell a few things, but I do think Grog actually did turn on the party, if I remember correctly. I might not be, but in the animated series, Scanlan doesn't show up, and all of Vox Machina turn against Percy, and then he does the most badass ricochet shot off the armor, the armor things that came to life earlier, and the visceral, like, I think they slow it down so they can show this dude's like Anders' tongue just and like jaw just get torn off from this bullet, and fuck, it is nasty. The dude's lower jaw is gone, his tongue is crawling all over the place. It's just amazing. And like Percy's eyes, whenever he does this and kind of, does this thing where he goes up and like, says F you, like you're on my fucking list, and the name starts to disappear. It is so visceral, and Percy is just so angry, and the eyes are black, and it's just so perfectly done. It makes you like fear Percy, and No Mercy Percy's there. You could like look at Percy, compare him to the rest of the group, and you could think that he could like fall to evil and turn against the party, and he would fuck up the party just by the way he acts and like the way he is in general compared to the rest of them. And then in the next episode, uh, it's kind of the episode where they have to run from all the zombies because Delilah is pissed and she summons a bunch of zombies to go after them. And they show Delilah and Cyrus like first encountering the Whispered One's notes. Like Delilah is like Silas is dying, and Delilah goes off to a workshop that's like seemingly calling to her, and she finds the book of Vecna and kind of I don't think they're gonna call him Vecna in this. I think they're gonna call him something else because Vecna's D&D, and I don't believe they own the rights to that, which is something I just thought of. So they might just end up calling him the Whispered One, but who knows? We'll see. She comes back and like basically cures him, and she immediately notices that his reflection in the mirror is gone, and his heart isn't beating, but like she doesn't care. And I like seeing moments of the villains. It wasn't something I thought about beforehand, and they didn't do it with Brimscythe, where they kind of left the Brimscythe surprise to be itself, and now they're building up Delilah and Cyrus in their own backstory, which is nice. I kind of like it. Because if they had done something like this with Brimscythe, they would have had to have shown like the Chroma Conclave, which they did it very subtly in those episodes instead of just overtly showing it, which I'm kind of grateful for. But this, we get to see more of their Delilah and Cyrus's like personality. Like Cyrus wants to go up to the front lines and start fighting, but Delilah's like, no, we can't do that. You can't do that. You're too vulnerable. They might fuck you up if I'm not there, sort of thing. And it's really good to see their backstory. It makes me feel for them more, knowing where they end up and sort of what becomes of them and like why they do what they do. And seeing more of their like personality and their backstory makes me feel for them a little. They're still despicable, despisable people. Like, I hate them, but I care more about them as characters rather than I hate them altogether as villains. Like they do despicable shit. Like they hung a kid and a group of people from a tree just to spite Vox Machina, which is fucked up. But you see how hard Delilah worked to get Silas back, and you can see the love of the two of them. Like, it's just crazy how far they were willing to go for each other, and there's more character here now. Like Matt had bits and pieces of this character in the campaign, but now in this animated series, there's 1,000 times more character, and it's just insane. And probably one of my favorite moments in all of campaign 1 happens in episode 9, and that's Pike arrives on the battlefield as a the word is escaping me now. Astral projection, that's it. And she in the game, in the campaign, I'm pretty sure she just turns undead, which gives them time. But in this one, they make it look so epic and badass. She throws her hammer, she gives everyone else like light weapons, and she does a massive explosion wave and like kills a bunch of zombies. And Grog runs up and kills one of the giants, and then Vax does the same, and everyone looks pretty badass. Oh, and fucking Archie. Archie was like the whole 9th episode was like, man, you gotta, like, Percy, you gotta come together as our leader. You're Dorolo, you're the rightful heir to this place. Come together as our leader. And then he went to go save Scanlan from the big Goliath, whose name escapes me. I'm fucking terrible at remembering names. he goes and tries to save him and just gets cut in half. And it was so nasty. And Percy just has such a visceral reaction to it. He kind of stands still, kind of like Keyleth in episode 1 when they were fighting Brimscythe. He just stands still and doesn't care. He's just looking at him like, what the hell happened? How is this possible? We saved you. We had you. And then he gets cut in two, and Vex has to go over and grab him and pull him to the side and wake him the fuck up. Vex seems to be, and it was weird. I didn't think about it until I watched one of the watch along things that they uploaded to YouTube, and it was Travis said that they didn't really think that Vox Machina had a leader, and then they kind of came together like while they were writing this and said it was probably Vex. And seeing how many times she pulls people together, like saying like, come to, like, wake the fuck up. Like, she says it to Keyleth, she says it to Vex. She tries to make sure Vax doesn't do anything stupid with Keyleth. She kind of, like, pushes Scanlan to do more and be better, and she's the one that comes up with the plan for Brimscythe. So, Vex is showing her leader skills. And when I watched the campaign, I kind of deferred to Percy as the leader. And it's kind of interesting that, looking at it from this perspective in the animated series, they lean toward Vex. So I don't know. Who do you think is the leader? I'm leaning toward Vex in the show, and back during the campaign, I kind of leaned toward Percy. But I'm rethinking all of that because a lot of this stuff is based off the game. So maybe she was this sort of leader character. So who knows? But yeah, Pike showing up was one of my favorite moments in all of the campaign. And something I touched on last time was, are they going to go get the Pokeball? And it doesn't seem like it. They don't. They're just going right into the castle, and they're going to go to the Ziggurat, and it's weird. I'm shocked that they're not going to get the Pokeball, because that Pokeball is integral to I think it's the Kevdak fight. I think Kevdak is his name, for Grog. And it's kind of crazy that they're not doing it. They're probably just going to do it in a different way. But I find it weird that they're not doing it at all. So we'll see. That episode ends with Delilah saying they need to speed up the plans even though it's not ready. And yeah. Oh, and we get Anna Ripley for the first time, and her arm is fucked. I always assumed it was just kind of cut off and they've wrapped it so it's like a nub, but it's like a spiky, weird looking. It almost looks like skin is trying to regrow over the bone, and it's fucked and nasty. And Anna Ripley's arm is fucked, and I can't wait to see what Percy does, because I'm pretty sure in the campaign the Goliath general dude doesn't die, but in the animated series Percy leaves him to the townfolk and he just immediately gets stabbed in the neck. This guy, there's no way that guy makes it out of that, because they were beating the piss out of him. Swords, axes, pitchforks. They were just stabbing him over and over again. So if he makes it out of that, that dude's impressive and deserves to live. But, Percy going up to Anna Ripley with his black eyes and the fucking mask on and the gun pointed at her, it's crazy. A detail I missed that I saw again on Twitter later was when they were talking before, they had their moment of silence in one of the episodes, I forget which one. Percy gets asked what the names, what happens when the names in the gun all disappear, what happens next. And Percy says, I don't know. His shadow has the gun perfectly lined up with his head, as if he's gonna pull the bullet or pull the trigger and shoot himself, which is one of the two theories I believe is what would happen with the gun if he keeps the pepper box. The other theory is that a whole new list of names appear, which is something he said during the campaign wrap-up. I don't know which one I like more, if it's new names appear or if he shoots himself. Because if he shoots himself, the pepper box has proved its worth. They've killed everyone that's important to the pepper box, and then he just pulls the trigger oh, I'm done, don't need this anymore, bang. And to me that would be extremely poetic, if not a little fucked up. I also think that adding just new names is really fucked up as well. And this journey of vengeance never ends. He just creates new enemies. I really like that idea too. So Percy overall, and the Pepper Box and Orthax, like just a really good character, a really fun character to explore, and the little detail in that shadow was really good. And I missed it the first time, which really sucks because I would have loved to have seen that and been like, oh fuck, that's insane. But I didn't see it the first time. I had to see it on Twitter, and then I went back to watch to make sure, and that shit's real. They've crammed so many Easter eggs, it's not even funny. There are videos like, oh, Easter eggs you missed. And then there's another video right beside it that says 80 Easter eggs you've missed, where this one shows off like, 10 or 15. This one's like 80. You've missed 80 in these 3 episodes. And to me, like, that shit's great. They've been doing an excellent job with the series. It's hard to really explain how much I love this series. I can't wait for the next 3 episodes because that's the season. It's going to be wrapped up, and I'm just going to watch it over and over and over, and I can't wait for season 2 already. Yeah, that's me. I'll see you guys Tuesday. Peace.